What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon Alter, and this is your Numinous Tarot forecast for the last week of Pisces season, March 14th, 2019. So this is truly the end of the astrological year. The last week of Pisces is the deepest week of Pisces. And at the beginning of Pisces season, I invited you to think about Pisces as the ocean and all of the secrets that the ocean holds. But another way we can think about Pisces is deep space. And this week we are so far out, the furthest edges of the cosmos. And at the beginning of Pisces season, I invited you to think of Pisceans, or people with a lot of Pisces in their chart, as the people that inhabit the deep ocean. And now you might start to think of your Piscean friends, neighbors, and companions as those beings on the outer edges of space, thinking angelic beings, beings from other realms and dimensions. And that's really the energy that we're moving through this week before we get to Aries season, which is the cycle starting all over again. So I really want you to take this week and reflect back. What did this astrological year have to teach you? How did it grow you up? How did it give you gifts, and how did it slap you across the face? It's important to think back to the end of February, beginning of March 2018, and look at the journey you've been on. It's been profound. And I think before we move forwards, we need to stop and receive where we've been. And so this last week of Pisces season is your opportunity to double, triple, quadruple down on your quiet time, on your meditation practices, on channeling or mediumship, pulling cards, receiving messages, and letting yourself be in that deep psychic soup. I think this last week of Pisces season is a particularly important time to pay attention to your dreams, and it's an important time to also challenge yourself to use your psychic gifts to develop this deep relationship with your intuition, because you are never going to be more psychic than you are right now, and this is true for everyone. So open up to it. We are in the age of Aquarius, and this is what we need. Everybody needs access to their psychic and intuitive gifts, and this week is your opportunity to really start to play with that. Play in the deep water. Play in the farthest reaches of space. This is the end of Pisces season. So, I'll talk more about Aries season next week, but I just want you to be aware that there is going to be that big shift, and because we are all so sensitive right now, I want you to know when it's going to happen so that you can tune into it. So it's going to happen on the 20th. On March 20th, and it's going to happen around 3 p.m., and that's Pacific Standard Time because I'm coming to you from California. And that's when the sun shifts into Aries season. That's when we start a whole new cycle. So, even if you're at the workplace, take a minute or two, turn off your phone, get quiet, and just see if you can feel that shift. This is one of the really profound ones. Even if you don't think you're that sensitive, I guarantee you're going to feel something. All right, so let's talk about the last two cards for Pisces season. I've really enjoyed pulling two cards. I'm not going to do it again for Aries season, but I've really enjoyed having these two messages to pull from. So we're working this week with the Two of Cups, which is so much about duality. It's about partnering with yourself. A lot of people call this the Lover's card, and sure, if this card shows up in a reading, it might indicate a new relationship coming forwards, but remember that our external relationships are always mirroring our internal partnering. So how you partner with yourself is how you partner with others externally. And this is really asking you to lean into the edge that you don't lean into. If we think about it, everybody's got an inner mommy and an inner daddy, or an inner sun and an inner moon. And you probably use one of those energies more than the other. And the Two of Cups says, how can you partner more fully with yourself? How can you bring more of that solar energy or more of that lunar energy into your daily life? That's really the question or the invitation. And if we remember that Pisces is the sign of duality, the invisible world and the physical world, the Two of Cups makes a lot of sense. And then we've got the Nine of Swords. Now, I love the Nine of Swords because the Nine of Swords is what I call the drama queen card. And I'm always endeavoring to not bring you the drama, but to bring you the medicine. And so when we get this card, we think about nightmares. We think about worst case scenarios. And when you're staying up late, you're in bed, you can't fall asleep, and your mind is running, you're thinking about all the ways things are going to go wrong, and then those things never come to fruition. And that's really what the Nine of Swords are teaching us, because nines are graduations. They're leveling up. And so this is a mental graduation where you're realizing that your mind is probably always going to feed you worst case scenarios, but you don't have to agree to them as true. And that's so much a theme of Pisces season, because some of us get really scared when we're in the dark. Some of us get really scared of our psychic gifts. Some of us get really scared to be in that psychic soup where we don't know which way is up and which way is down. And you just want to remember that even though it's dark, it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean that it has to be scary. You're being held in the collective unconscious. Pisces is really the sign of oneness, of unity. And sometimes we get afraid of losing our own personal identity by surrendering to the oneness, but never forget that you can't lose the authenticity of who you are. You are a divine drop. And even if you're submerged in the rest of the divine ocean, there's still that you-ness. You won't ever lose that. So I think it's really interesting just to look at how are we afraid of partnering with ourselves completely and playing around with those energies. So I hope it's been a nurturing and insightful and mysterious Pisces season for you. I always love Pisces season, even though it's got me deep in my feels, sometimes sobbing on the bathroom floor. It always brings tremendous insights and leveling up in terms of how you can see in the invisible world, how you can receive those messages. So don't be afraid and partner with yourself completely. And I will see you next week as we start this astrological wheel from the very beginning. Bye-bye.